Happy birthday, Destiny 2. You turned 9 a few weeks ago, and while we could do candles and sing happy birthday and all that jazz, I feel like we should talk about some things people love to hate about you. In fact, let's make a list. Here are 9 things everyone hates about you, Destiny 2. Aw, why so glum? Look on the bright side. If we're all still here despite the flaws, there must be something just really special about you. Anyway, let's rip you apart, starting with Destiny 2. You are a massive mishmash of game genres. At core, you are a RPG, MMO, fishing simulator, and a first-person shooter, but sometimes one of these genres tends to get pushed to the side for the other, and never is that more apparent than bad RNG, expected of RPGs and MMOs, but rarely, if ever, in a pure FPS game, bad RNG is single-handedly the most frustrating part of you. You could be grinding for literal months on end to get the perfect gun, to fill out your Guardian's arsenal, and finally feel the warmth of sunlight and the sweet caress of grass. But instead, you're subjected to a loot lottery of hell and bad luck. As satisfying as it is to finally get a random exotic, a weapon roll, or a red border weapon, no one wants to have to sit through hours on end only to be given a pat on the back, a low-level set of boots, and a glass of water from you. Listen, I know what you're going for, and yes, it is really cool when an exotic really is exotic, but holy shit, I am so tired of grinding for conditional finality. Just give me my icy hot super shotgun, Destiny, or the Eververse store gets it! Hey Destiny, I know you want people to play you for as long as possible, but nothing feels more like a kick in the mommy daddy button than being forced to wait to play. From story missions to quests to exotics, time gating has got to be the most arbitrary way to elongate a retention and play time. No. I get it. There are some really sweaty nerds out there who would want to play you like a 9-to-5 job, then jump on Twitter, complain about a lack of content, but surely there's like a better way than just strictly saying no? What if, okay, hear me out. What if instead of outright telling us we have to wait, what if the next step remained a secret until a future date? No? Well, maybe this is a necessary evil, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna like it. So, joke's on you, I'm gonna complain about you on Twitter anyways. Exclusive to the more sadistically inclined Destiny players known as PvP players, SBMM has been a hot topic of debate since its introduction to the game a few seasons ago. SBMM, or skill-based matchmaking, seeks to try to pair players of similar skill against each other in the name of creating a more fair match. Unfortunately, this system has created a feedback loop of forcing players to only ever play Sweatfest in what seems to be meant to be a casual playlist. SBMM creates other problems too. If you've got a friend who has never touched the PvP game in their life, don't take them into the Crucible, because either they're gonna get stomped by players that should be fighting you, or you become a one-man wrecking crew against a group of kindergartens whose only tactic at survival is to bend over, put their hands above their heads, and kiss their ass goodbye. Or maybe from a more personal note, I don't ever really get to be silly or experiment with new loadouts. That is, unless I like losing. Destiny really doesn't lend itself well to the ultra-competitive experience like CSGO, or even something like Call of Duty, and SBMM seems to bring out the loudest examples as to why. I just want to make my silly Gatling gun go brrr without tasting mud every game. Is that too much to ask? Attention Destiny, this is a letter to inform you that I have found an issue with my credit card and I will no longer be purchasing Eververse cosmetics until I find a fix. Ah, not so funny. What's on the other way around? Is it Destiny? You have this silly little quirk where weapons, armors, abilities get effectively turned off if something unintendedly too strong is discovered about them. Honestly, this wouldn't be much of a problem, except for these restrictions can last for weeks on end with virtually no communication as to why or when they will be eventually fixed. Listen, I get that game design is hard, but man, do I hate logging on one day and seeing the new exotic I just got is now against the Destiny law to use. Honestly, this wouldn't feel so bad if the bugs that are discovered that make the game harder for players were addressed just as quickly, but often that's not the case. Often the things that make players play the game for longer are allowed for longer, whereas the bugs that make the game easier are Wii Sports boxing versus Matt right jab across the straight chin. He's down and out for the count. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks go by and we still have no idea if I'm ever gonna be able to use this thing. Picture this. You are playing PvP. You are fighting against a warlock. You have a bow. You land a body shot on him as he rounds the corner down a cave corridor. You have him. This is it. You know he won't be able to get a rift down quick enough to recover before you can finish him off. You push in, but hear the sound that makes your heart sink. He has super, and not just any super. He has the affectionately named Kamehameha. Frightened, but not panicked. You turn to run away. You know he won't be able to fire off in time before you flee. But there he is, Jimothy, some random teammate who apparently has the sound turned off as he was plowing both himself and now you forward towards your certain demise. Jimothy, you say to him, Jimothy, we need to run. But Jimothy has made up his mind. Jimothy, please don't body block me, Jimothy! Jimothy, I want to live! Jimothy! As established, Destiny 2, you are a fat-ass game. I mean, like, damn, you need to lose some weight, but I don't think liposuction is the solution. Sunsetting is the process of removing old content from a game, and Destiny is no stranger to this method. Unfortunately, Destiny doesn't just retire old overperforming gear to allow a new generation of weapons and armors to shine. Oh no, Destiny went for this very let's call it savant approach of completely getting rid of old campaign missions and areas. To be fair, at least we got some new things to fill in this space, but that doesn't excuse the fact that most of the gear you decided to sunset, you re-released or at least released really similar versions of with damn near the exact same perks and stats, effectively forcing everyone to re-grind for their favorite stuff all over again for not really any good reason. That's not to say sunsetting is objectively horrible, but more that the way you decided to do it was messy. Okay, Destiny quiz time. What color is this? Very good. What color is this? It seems pretty easy, right? Okay, all right. Hear me out. Explain to me why this color means this color. Have you ever thought about how necessary shaders are to the Destiny experience? They allow players to make armor look consistent and coherently cool, even though the armor set they are from is completely different. But that doesn't mean that Destiny gets it perfect. For some unknown reason, Destiny will slap a seemingly random color onto weapons and armors, even though the shader that is applied has nothing of that color in its preview. I have no idea why this system is the way it is. It makes trying to pick out what shader looks best into, with not even really an exaggeration, a guessing game of trial and error. Surely there is a less archaic way of getting the correct color to match up with a little tile square other than forcing players to keep a Wikipedia of shader interactions in the back of their minds, right? Destiny is 9 years old, and yet to this day, the oldest living bug or problem, whatever you would like to call it, is melee registration. Sometimes melee attacks, which can include fists, knives, swords, shields, and glaives, just sorta don't. I find this to be especially ironic because, unlike other shooter games, your melee is integral to your kit. Sometimes entire builds are designed around your melee, and yet no matter the time or place, melee bugs find a way. At this point, this issue is old enough to be attending 3rd grade, and that's not even an exaggeration. I assume you don't know how to fix it, but that doesn't stop me from hating it. Creating a game can be hard to get just right. when you have hundreds of thousands of different combinations of perks and mods and stats to consider, some things get away from even the best of developers, but sometimes things are a problem on paper, even before it's implemented, are a problem on the first impression, and stay a problem for far longer than they should. This is most felt in PvP, but that doesn't stop the PvE players from feeling this too. Sometimes it's fun to be forced to get creative, to make tough choices about your loadouts, and really be rewarded for thinking a problem through. A good, well-balanced sandbox can feel like a puzzle game inside of your other game. A moment of intellectual jousting and theory crafting to make something just right. And all of that is smashed into little tiny bite-sized pieces the moment a easy to get and broken weapon or item or gear or whatever is found. Slow patches and slow fixes to the sandbox kill what I consider some of my favorite parts of playing you, Destiny. But that's okay, because you still do a lot that I love. So even though I hate you, Destiny, I also love Country Road.